What
Right.
is the matchup that matters that you had in this game?
Um, you got to go strength on strength here for me, and it's Brian Thomas Jr. versus Christian Gonzalez because those are the bright spots of both of their respective units. BTJ has done beautifully, especially, just really assuming that outside role, that number one wide receiver role for the Jaguars. He's ninth in receiving yards. He's got 168 yards after the catch, which ranks 11th in the league. Um, and then you've got Christian Gonzalez, who is this bright spot on a New England Patriots defense that obviously isn't there yet. This whole team's not there yet. But Christian Gonzalez is, great. Like he's doing well for what you need him to be. 44 targets, 26 catches allowed on those 44 targets, 2 touchdowns, and has an interception, 4 forced incompletions. So who wins that battle? Because I really do think that for the Jags to get things going offensively, it's going to run on the back of BTJ. And then if the Patriots can shut him down and Christian Gonzalez is their best chance at that, then this is the matchup that essentially is going to dictate how each team does and which team ultimately comes out on the winning side of this. And I, quite frankly, am very worried for Doug Peterson's job if the Jaguars lose this.
So I also agree. I think it's a huge matchup. I mean, my plus factor in this one can be something as easy as, hey, basically anybody else other than Brian Thomas Jr. Because I do agree with you. Like that is a huge matchup that matters because Christian Gonzalez has stood up well against basically all the wide receivers that he has gone up against. So you figure he's probably going to go up against the guy that is the linchpin of their passing attack there for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think that if he is taken away, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, like we saw Evan Ingram get involved. Like it's got to be a passing option that is not Brian Thomas Jr. I think that is a big plus factor in me for the Jags to be victorious in this one. Mm-hmm. But specifically for a matchup that matters, I'm looking at a Jaguars group that since week 4, 51.5 coverage grade overall. They're averaging one of the highest EPA per plays allowed in coverage over those 3 weeks. And not having Tyson Campbell out there with him on IR has been brutal for them. And, Andre Cisco, after the game last week, was really frustrated. He basically comes out and he says, hey, like there's a lot of quit on this team, unfortunately. We don't know where guys are going to be because they're not running as fast as they should be. We don't have that chemistry. Cisco had the interception last week, so he had an elite 90.4 coverage grade, but I don't think there was a single other coverage player on Jacksonville who had a coverage grade above, I'll be conservative and say 65, but it might have been 60. I can't remember off the top of my head, but to me, that is a matchup that matters because it's got to be a lot better than what it is for Jacksonville. Certainly, we could talk about how bad New England's offensive line has been and how Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen can have a big day against Drake May, who did struggle versus pressure last week. But May's gonna let it fly, I think. And if you are a coverage team that is not on your P's and Q's, even a new rookie quarterback can really hurt you. Guys like Jalen Polk, guys like Pop Douglas, like they have receivers on this team. It's just a matter of, can you cover them the way that you need to really rattle Drake May and create those very, very small throwing windows to where maybe he doesn't think these guys are open yet. Maybe he doesn't understand kind of what NFL open is quite yet. You normally learn that when you get a couple of starts underneath your belt. So to me, that ends up being the matchup that matters. Is this is how bad it's been for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So for them, they have to be much better in coverage, or even a first, a guy making his second start with a wide receiver group that's not great. They can make you pay if you don't play a lot better. But who's your plus factor in this one?
Yeah, and the way that your plus factor kind of went off of my matchup that matters, my plus factor goes off yours, and it is Drake May. It's exactly what you said in how effective can he be, because he will let the ball fly. 10 plus yards downfield, or throws 10 plus yards downfield. He had 10 of those already. He was 5 of 10, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So mixed results there, but he's clearly not afraid to try and push the ball down the field. And I think he will try. I think you should expect a lot of play action again, because that was so effective for him in the very small sample size that we have of Drake May. But he was 4 for 4, 20 yards, a touchdown that came off of play action. So you kind of have to be wary of that and how well this offensive line can hold up for him. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as I think we were anticipating when Drake May was getting his first start against the Houston Texans, which just still the decision baffles me. But This is, he's playing with house money at this point, and so is this New England Patriots offense in general because there aren't any expectations. So he is really able to prioritize. Drake May is really able to prioritize his development and making the throws that he needs to make and getting comfortable with his reads and getting comfortable with throwing guys open and knowing what NFL open looks like with really no pressure. And that is going to, in turn, stress this Jags defense, I think, a lot when you have a quarterback that can play that freely, provided you don't get him, he's not on the ground, and this offensive line can hold up for him a little bit.